All right, we are officially live. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Meet the Staff. Today, I am being joined by who I refer to as the Gentle Giant, Mr. Jason Jeffries. So, Jason, how we doing today, brother?
Oh, I'm all right. Not as good as you, but I'm okay. You got one more day and I don't. So,
This is true, and what Jason's referring to is, unfortunately, both Jason and myself in different houses are we're on lockdown right now. Unfortunately, both of us have tested positive for COVID. Both of us very, very mild symptoms. So I got to keep my taste buds. So I was joking with Jason before the feed. I said I feel like I gained the COVID-19 because I feel like I gained 19 pounds from sitting in a house not being able to do anything. Didn't lose my taste buds. Jason, on the other hand, unfortunately, can't even taste the hot wing right now. So
nope, nothing.
But it's we're both doing well. We're glad to be on the program here and still able to bring the session to you. But as you know out there, gang, every Monday we like to have a special guest on, and sometimes it's staff that bowls for the Brands of Brunswick. Other times it's some staff from my personal staff with Pirate Bowling. Jason here is obviously a staffer with Pirate Bowling. He also represents and kind of is a brand ambassador for us for Ultimate Bowling products as well. So, Jason, how we always start these things off here, I usually start with a question I like to ask everybody, and it's kind of, what's your background, man? How did you get into the sport?
Yeah, well, I came from Indiana, Fort Wayne. Bowling came to me as I don't know if maybe a punishment or a change of lifestyle from my grandmother. I didn't have the best friends growing up, and the Saturday morning league at Georgetown was a way to make sure that I was in bed at a decent time on a Friday night and not trying to go out somewhere. And so then I got into the Saturday morning league and met some good friends and kind of got the competitive edge for it and wanted to get better and better and better. And then I got into high school bowling and I had opportunity to work with some of the best coaches that area has to offer. And so then I really, by having the knowledge and then the power to grow, really gave me an extra kick to even get a little bit better and deeper and more involved. And then I ended up working at Georgetown for 5 years. So it was part of my lifestyle growing up. And then I moved here, worked at Limerick for close to 5 years again. So bowling's just kind of been part of my personality growing up. I would say good 60% of my friends are all bowling connected, which is amazing. And I have tons of friends in tons of different states because of it. And, we kind of, I think I was working on some videos with Tamer, and then I ended up running into you. And we got introduced and talking, and here we are. So it's kind of just a punishment to start with, but now it's part of my lifestyle. So
yeah, it's got to start anyway. Everybody's got a different story of kind of how it went there. And I think another, you're saying, meeting a lot of people, but it's also so small knit together because interestingly enough, last week we had Cassandra Mize on, and you guys grew up in the same hometown, ended up in this region, and now are both, representing the brand here at Pureit, which is amazing, to hear kind of the backstories and how you went there. But, Cass kind of went through and talked a little bit about how, she went into the college ranks and she's kind of moved around with her job and stuff. But what brought you from Indiana to Pennsylvania?
Oh man, you're really prying here.
Hey.
Now it was actually a female that brought me here.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it was about a whole 30 days before that turned sour. So, I had $500 in my pocket, and I said, "Well, I'm here now, so I might as well make the best of it." And I worked 80 hours a week for the next year, and got an opportunity to work at Limerick. So Limerick was like my first decent, fair job in Pennsylvania. And then I learned some other trades through some other people that I know, actually connected through bowling. It allowed me to get into the banking field. That's going great. But yeah, it was actually a female that brought me here and let me hang out to dry. But
nothing wrong with that. Well, it takes strange turns in life to how we get to where we're at. But I mean, if you look on the bright side of it now, I know now you're an engaged man. You're due to get married next year.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have met your future wife if that didn't happen either. So
that's true.
You
take the good with the bad.
Good with the bad, and as we talk about on this program all the time, you always got to find a way to extract a positive out of everything. And again, we wouldn't be here talking today probably if we never met. You wouldn't have met your future wife. You may not have ever started up your ball reviews, which we'll get into with Jaybird Bowling and stuff. But it's just even your career now in banking. Who knows what you would have did if you stayed in Indiana. So
you got it.
It's got to start somewhere. But
that's right.
From the bowling side of it, obviously, still relatively younger guy here, and kind of getting into the game and really taking that next step. So why don't we talk a little bit about before we answer some of these questions or say hi to these guys in here? You kind of launched Jaybird Bowling or Jaybird Ball Reviews, if you will, and you've recently launched that with a series. I think you're probably up to about 5-6 videos at this point. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the whole thing about Jaybird Bowling came about because me and you kind of think on the same frequency. Growing the sport and getting people more involved it comes from knowledge, and when people understand it more, they want to be more a part of it. And we thought the ball review would be a great opportunity. So we started doing that, and we focus strictly on features and benefits. Try to keep it not opinion based. This is what this is good for, and this is what you can use it for. And we just the whole goal is just to educate other people, keep them interested, learning more. They get that same competitive edge that I have now, that I didn't have when 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
People get in the you always want to learn a bit more, the curiosity. So
yeah, it's and I think we learn, even when you start to produce videos or I'm doing live streams and stuff like this here, every single time that we offer one of them or we do the next one, we kind of learn from the previous one about what works, what are people looking for. We take feedback from what people want to see. I know one thing we've spent a lot of time talking about, and I think you got a compliment on it. Excuse me, from somebody. It was either this morning or yesterday, which was, when we do videos, we don't focus on the bowler really. We focus on the ball motion, because that's that's the most important thing. Like, Jason and I are a bunch of really good looking guys. We're on Team Husky, but you're not there to watch the ball review to see Jason or I from behind throwing a bowling ball. You want to actually see what the bowling ball does, where it kind of sees the lane, reactions and stuff, and get a little bit of commentary, because it's really about what you need to learn out there as to what is important, what does the person that's watching the video want to learn about it. So, we're on the same frequency with that one as well.
And I think we're up to 6 videos. The Black Widow 2.0 really, really took off. I mean, that hit 4,000 views in 24 hours, which was awesome. Big, and I think we're up cleared 6,000 now, which is awesome. And people are giving us good feedback. Just try to keep it educational and help people learn, because that's what's going to grow the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a constant evolution. I mean, we talked the other day, and then quickly we changed gears. We launched a YouTube channel just for the bowling center and for Pure Bowling, which you'll see, a combination of these feeds like we're doing right now. You'll a lot of live feeds. You'll see all the stuff that's offered from Jaybird Bowling on there as well. And we're going to constantly evolve that as well. And, if you're on the feed right now and you haven't had the opportunity to go over and subscribe to that, make sure you subscribe to both Pure Bowling and Jaybird Bowling on YouTube, because you can get, you're getting the same content from both, and it's just hitting double the footprint. So, It's exciting. I think we're both looking forward to even more as we renovate the center and we're doing some other things there. You get a little more of the creative juices going to what the next offering is going to be. I think they're going to become even more educational and, give the viewers out there exactly what they're looking for. And that's an unbiased view of the ball. I mean, if you're watching those, they'll be a little different than when, for instance, I do maybe and Jason might be there and we do a live video on a Thursday where we're throwing a specific ball. We might go into a little different kind of detail because you have even more players. You're kind of seeing it in real time. And, we'll talk a little bit about how we personally might use that bowling ball. So it kind of gives the next iteration of that as well. The videos we're going to do on the Jaybird side are more of introduction or review of the ball itself, a little bit of a tech background. And then when we get on to maybe, the talk about it segments, or we're doing the throw it segments, we go into maybe more specific to that bowler, their parameters, their release. So again, now it's the next step of that to understand, okay, this is what the manufacturer intended for this ball, its usage. Now we're going to get some people that are actually throwing the ball, have it drilled to their specs, and talk about where it's going to fit in their bag around things and, what that means for, the person that's trying to match themselves up to that person throwing it, to help them out when it comes to layouts and stuff too. So, it's good. And I love the fact, the videos are so successful. I mean, that Widow 2.0, which you pointed out, I mean, darn, man, that ball kind of sells itself. I mean, I think when you and I shot that video, we usually do, anywhere from 6 to 10, takes or something, or try to strike. And I don't think either one of us missed. I mean, that ball just made us look really, really good. So it's definitely special. I know this isn't about the 2.0 right now, but we're going to throw it in there anyway. If you don't have one, get it, because it is the real deal. You need to have it in your bag.
Yeah. And you were talking about, throwing the ball personally to your game. Me and you had talked about the web MB, and we both kind of agreed, this ball's super angular, and we both kind of agreed, what, maybe it might be just a touch more usable if we just scratch it with the pad quick and just to smooth it out a little bit. That might be, and it might be different for different bowlers, but I think we try to chirp in. I think I did chirp in on that video about personally what we would do to get more use out of this ball.
Yeah, and even after I shot a video then that Thursday and shot a live one with Carrie, and I left it box finish there, and then since then I've hit that ball, and that ball's just, it's really good. I mean, it's still a perfect complement to the other one, but again, it's just matching up the player to what we're doing. And that's, when you guys are stopping by and you're asking questions, or you're watching our videos, or you're coming into our feeds, those are the type of things that we want to, speak through with you guys out there. So, when you're in the feeds, ask those type of questions when you're in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Feedback is a gift. We take it. I don't take it offense to anything. So if you have an opinion, I'd absolutely voice it. Let's talk about it. See if we can do it better. I'm all about improving and getting better all the time.
Yeah, he's really nice about it. I mean, if I really don't agree with you, I'm going to tell you. Maybe I'm a little different in that aspect, but Jason's too nice. He is literally the gentle giant for a reason. I am proud of him, though. He's speaking nice and loud right now, so I can hear him loud and clear, because usually when Jason's around me, it's, Jason, you're a big dude, man. Speak up. I can't hear you. I'm old.
Yeah.
But coming through loud and clear. But I don't want to lose track of some of these comments that are coming through too. So, a lot of them, people were popping in saying hello. Obviously, Rocky's on. Mark Walters. Mark, congratulations. If you didn't see it on the Pure page, Mark Walters for his first 800 last night. So
he
King
of the Garden. I mean,
King of the Garden. He's our resident gnome around here. But he got himself his first 800. Almost dipped in the 300, 800 realm there. But congratulations to him on that one. Jeremy Hilbert, thanks, man. We're both hanging in there. We're both doing well. Looks like Ben Rhines checking in from Baltimore area. Ben, hope you're doing well. I love the. I know you didn't finish where you wanted to in the tournament, but love seeing you with the flying our colors there on the video you put up there. Couple questions that'll pop through just so I don't miss anything here. So Mr. Hinderer popped in. He kind of asked what your favorite bowling memory was and or accomplishment.
Okay. Yes. So I didn't bowl college. I'm not that smart. So I did. I'm going to go back to high school here. It was in sophomore. I think it was my sophomore year. I had made it through to semi-state tournament, and I bowled 300. And this was back, this was back maybe 10 years ago, something like that. And I had bowled actually longer than that, 12 years ago, and I had bowled 300 and in the tournament, and it was kind of towards the end of the tournament, and everybody was finishing up. Well, there's 150, 200 people in there, and everybody stepped off the approach. And I just absolutely flushed all 3 shots. Felt great to actually close the game out. And it was a big deal. Well, 300s weren't like candy nowadays, but they, so, and it was on a sports shot. So, it was a little more difficult, but yeah, that was, I would say, one of the most memorable moments, because we actually drilled the ball up right before we left. And for this is going to work, and it absolutely did.
Yeah, it was nerve wracking. I remember going back to the first 300, and I'm going way back here too, because my first one I think I was 15. I was 15 years old, and I did it with I was 16, and I did it with a Midnight Blue Quantum. And again, the same thing you're saying is everybody stops. It's not like now where somebody throws 300, you might not even know they threw 300 in the lead because they're so plentiful. But it was different then. And I was so worked up. Back when I threw 300 for the first time, I remember the next game I bowled 158. I mean, I bowled 300, 158, and I think I bowled like 202 or something the last game. Like, I had absolutely nothing for a set. But it's crazy.
Yeah, and it was a good year. I went, I think it was either 3rd or 5th in sectionals. I ended up winning semi-state. I got like 5th at regionals. Oh no, I'm sorry. I won sectionals, got 5th at regionals, won semi-state, and I got either like 3rd or 5th at the state tournament. So that was like, one of my best years in high school. And then I ended up getting on first all-state team that year too, which was a good experience.
Yeah. It's crazy how it changes too. I mean, you look at how blown up like high school bowling and stuff is now too. Like I remember when I bowled high school, back in 1957, whenever that was. I mean, it seems that long ago. We had a high school program, but you had 5 schools. You bowled in the same building right next to each other. You never traveled. You never did any of that stuff. Yeah. And then, it wasn't like now, I remember winning at the state level, and I had my medal handed me in the hallway going into a pep rally. They didn't even give it to me into pep rally. That's how much bowling wasn't really recognized. I also remember my parents wanting to basically wring the principal's neck when that happened. But, now, we have, we've had multiple people that, from Purett that have came up through the ranks, like Colby Bennett and stuff, that have won states a few times, and it's a huge deal. Yeah, so it's, completely changed. So it's awesome to see the evolution of where the game has gone in itself.
Yeah, and at that point in Indiana, bowling was actually the fastest growing high school sport. It was a big deal, a big attendance, and we traveled to South Bend, Indianapolis. We went quite a different few places for the postseason tournaments. Yeah, it was a big deal. It was an awesome time. It kind of had the college atmosphere. We had the chants going on, and everybody, we back before COVID, we went out to eat together, and we stayed in a block of rooms, that was right next to each other. So we spent the entire week. It was a great team building experience, and it was really a big deal. It was nice.
So you did chants as well in high school? Did you have it?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember them?
How could I forget?
Well, I put Cass on the spot last week, and she danced for me. So I'm not asking you. I want to hear a chant. If you know it, let's hear it.
Yeah. Let's see. So I was actually in charge of it.
So you're a male cheerleader. I got it. Understood. Yes. I'm pretty sure you're on top of the pyramid too, right?
Actually, that's not a joke. Kind of, yes. So what we did before we got the match started, after practice was over, and we were one of the better high school teams in the conference, and we were known for being loud and kind of a little arrogant and cocky, but we backed it up later. So we had a pin we carried along. It was signed by all the team members or whatever. So we get the JV, the varsity, women's team all together. Actually, we had 4 teams: women's, JV, and varsity; men's, JV, and varsity. So 4 teams plus the coaches. I would get up on top of the, like a table or something. God forbid me break it, but get up there, hold the pin over everybody, and then I would go. Excuse me, sorry. It was. What was it? Can I get a hoorah? And then everybody would like yell it. There's 40 people yelling hoorah, so it was like pretty loud. It was like, can I get a hoorah? And then hoorah, and then we go 1, 2, 3, Snyder. And then it was much more effective than me saying it right now because it was 40, 50 people saying it. But yeah, it was fun. It's fun.
All right. I mean, it's not as good as Cass's turkey dance, but I'm gonna be okay with it.
Listen, you don't want to see me dance.
Well, I do. No, I want to see you on top of the pyramid.
You want to see me on top of the pyramid?
Yes.
Well, I'm older now.
I'm not going to be part of the foundation there, brother. I'm not doing it. We'll put the girls from staff on the bottom and see what happens.
Yeah, people are so happy now. Like, I'm not getting on top here.
Yeah. Another one floating through here. Garden Gnome wants to know first ball ever, favorite ball ever, and favorite current ball. That's a very loaded 3 questions there.
Oh yeah. Such a big question for such a little guy. Let's see. First ball ever was a blue zone plastic ball.
Okay.
That was before they were called T zones. And then I ended up getting a Scout Reactive. That was my first hooking ball, Scout Reactive. And let's see. You took the question away.
I did. So the next one was favorite ball.
Favorite ball ever?
Yep.
For the Emerald Vibe.
Okay. That was one of the favorites of mine too. So
yes, that ball
Emerald Vibe.
Awesome. I had 3 of them actually.
And his 3-part question, and we got to knock his questions off for a while because he's hogging the feed up here.
Yeah.
Guy shoots his first 800. Now we can't get him to stop talking. But I'm just messing with you, Mark. The last one was current favorite ball in the bag.
Current favorite ball. Let's see. I'm gonna go with the dynamic swing because I've opened up a league with that ball for the last 3 weeks, and all scores have been over 260. So that ball is a sneaky one.
It is a sleeper, and
yes,
even though it does lane shine a little bit, it just keeps getting better and better and better. Like the more I throw it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just keep hitting it with a pad, 1,000 pad. But I open up. I've been opening up every league week with that, and I've shot like 270, 259, something like that. It's
kind of hard not to open up with that when you're coming out of the gates that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's caught in the shadows of all the production right now, but it's a good ball.
And if anybody's, a good portion of that, but if anybody's interested in that, we definitely have that at the center to demo as one of the balls there. Speaking of which, because you're bringing that up, the Brands of Brunswick just actually, we released our brand new demo program, which I get to oversee here in the basically Eastern Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, kind of Jersey region. And you're going to start seeing those in a lot of centers here coming up. So, for instance, starting this Wednesday, a good friend of ours, Joe Pelusic, Joe's Pro Shop in Feasterville, PA, he's going to be the first one that's hosting a demo, and that'll have that ball be included in there. They're going to make their way, if you're on the feed here, they're going to go to Jaybirds, which I think is in Pleasant Hill, Delaware, and it's going to make its way down to Timmy Foy down in the Cambridge area. Then it's going to start making its way over into Maryland there with Prime Bowling with Eddie Curtis, and then wrapping up into like the York area with Scott Schnewer there at East Lincoln. So if anybody's on the feeds here, I know there's a lot that pop in. There's a lot of opportunities to actually throw some of these that he was talking about here. So check them out. So Dom asked, and we talk a lot about this. We talk a lot about goals, especially when I'm coaching individuals. So, I mean, he's asking what you set for the season. So I think what he's maybe going in, obviously, is kind of like fall season, maybe going into the beginning of 2021. What's on your list there in terms of goals?
Okay, I'm gonna divide this up into maybe personal goals and some professional ones. So as far as professional goals go, basically for this year, I really want to focus on building up, the YouTube channel and the Facebook videos, and fine tuning that, and so I can deliver a good product there. Because I think the influencing is a big thing in the industry. And people need somebody they can trust. So we're trying to provide a quality product there. As far as marketing and stuff goes, we do have some. Jeff said that we're going to be partnering up with Ultimate Bowling Products. We're going to be using their interchangeables for the videos going forward. I do have one other thing on the back burner I can't talk about yet, but trying to focus on, as far as professionally goes, trying to focus on building up that influencer channel. Personally, as far as my game goes, I've been really trying to focus on posting shots. Jeff knows, me and him, we're big fellas. Dom, too, we're all big fellas. I'm trying to really focus on posting shots, making sure I'm getting that balance arm out there. I'm trying to, make sure I'm posting shots. I'm not head over knee. I want to make quality shots so I can, participate in these tournaments and come out ahead. So, I'm focusing. I want to do maybe like 25 tournaments over the course of the year. As far as my game goes, that's going to be the biggest thing. And also is fine tuning my ball manipulation skills. So, I've had conversation with Jeff about that before, how, when, where to use it, and, executing when it's the right time, is what I'm trying to learn and be better at.
Yep. And when we start understanding ball motion goes a long way. And not confusing ball motion with lane play, because they're two completely different things. But they're things that we obviously offer. We do a lot with our students and our staff as well, because we're just trying to make the best players that we can.
Yep.
Mike, I assume this was probably maybe more directed at me. But, I mean, since we're talking about history, whatever happened to particle bowling balls. Particle bowling balls, I think you've seen kind of fizzle out more with changes in viscosities of oil more than anything. It was just another way to start the kind of peaks and valleys. And I think that, better base additives were, kind of discovered that would start, soaking more than particle, which would, tend to act more urethane-like, where it would, your outer cover would get saturated quicker and your oil would lay on the outside. And I think it's just another thing of technology there. I mean, every ball to an extent has particle to it, because you're using different additives that are going in. So I think the term particle has changed kind of by definition within our sport of what that actually means. I mean, I think everything you're seeing now with cover stock technology is just an iteration and the next step when it comes to that. But you look at the chemistry that's behind bowling balls now, it's absolutely incredible of what they can do with these bowling balls, and how they can impact that, and just by different additive packages. It's kind of, I like to treat it almost like add-ons to basically a car, or a tire, or anything along those lines. It's an addition to what you're doing to change traction. I mean, that's really what this stuff is doing. Carrie would call it teethy. Teethier. It's a very, very technical name.
I think longevity's changed too.
It has.
I don't see the equipment dying off like it used to in 2005-ish. It was a 30 game thing, and ball's toast.
Yep, and there was a lot of really, really good bowling balls out back then that died very quickly. Like, they were amazing for 30, 40 games.
Yep.
And I think that's when you saw a lot of the the thicker cover stocks kind of go to the wayside. And now you're starting to see it kind of transition back to the thicker cover stocks again on some balls. But with the new cover stock technologies, you're not getting that dead ball syndrome like you were with the old additive packages. Again, it's evolution of the game. I mean, it's just how it changes.
Yep.
Whatever. Steve Landry, we're doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Dom, kind of popping in here again. Excellent goals, although they're more focused on improvement than something like cashing in every tournament, winning 5 titles. I think it's a good point there, Dom, what you're saying. You know, the goals are what we'll call, you always have to have a SMART goal. So if anybody's in business, it's got to, you have to have something that is reachable. And by a SMART goal, it's basically having something you can obtain, something that can be measured. You can measure how many wins you have and how much dollars you put in your pocket. But you want to focus on something that is going to make an immediate impact to have a difference on the final result. If you always start basing your goals off of result or ending, then what are you working on after you do that? Okay. So, I don't think if Jason focuses on just, posting more shots, that's great. But his next iteration is, okay, I'm posting 95% of my shots. What is the next additive, if you will, since we're using words like that, or what is the next add-on that we're going to do to posting those shots that is going to take the next step to continue and not allow him to plateau? So if you hit a goal and it's one that's measured off just titles or money and stuff, that's fine. But you got to make sure that that's not where it stops. If you have a plateau, what is the next step that you're going to take right after that? Complacency has no place in this game. If I was complacent on the way that I looked at layouts or how I work with my students and the way that I coach and the way that I teach, there would come a point where I'm not making my players or people any better. So it's a constant evolution. So as the game changes, as competitors learn more and more and get involved, and we get to not to the pinnacle, you're never going to stop. And I'll use an example. Do you think who I would say the two biggest names in bowling, one on the female side, one on the guy side? Female side, it's Shannon O'Keefe. Sorry, Carrie. The other side, and love him or hate him, is Jason Belmonte. Okay. Do you think that either one of those players are complacent with where they're at? Not at all. They're always thinking about what the next step is and what they're working on to be even better than what they are. That's why they're as good as what they are.
Yeah. Well, you lose the drive too. If you're not working towards something, you lose the drive.
And I'm going to use those two as an example of something else. And you may get inspired by the way that they compete, right? But everybody should be inspired by what they're doing for the game as well. Okay. Those are two of the most polarized individuals in our sport. They legitimately sell bowling balls simply by talking, right? They don't even have to bowl because they're so known in the sport that the minute that they're throwing something, people have an impact to want to do what they're doing because that's how good they are, right? So they're not only great by the work they put in on the lanes and in the gym, but they're also amazing ambassadors. So when you look at that aspect of it, they simply embrace their position in the game, and they keep trying to make the game better and make other people better. And that's why I think, I will follow along every step of the way. And I kind of strive and put goals like that's what I want to bring to the game too.
I want to chime in on that. I think part of the problem we see today with people is they're looking at the long-term goal and they want it yesterday and they want it with a bottle of wine. Okay. They're forgetting about the steps you need to take to get there. And I think that's where we get lost. And I appreciate, unfortunately I didn't have my parents growing up, but I was raised by my grandparents, totally different generation. They took me in, when they were in their 70s, totally different generation. And I appreciate them, raising me because I did get that, old timey kind of you got to work for what you want. Okay. I haven't been handed anything my entire life. And you got to work for what you want, and you got to put the effort in to get to those goals. Because a lot of people, they want everything. They want it now. They want it for free. Oh, and they want a little extra something on top. And you forget about the grind. And that's why I said what I said about, posting shots. And Dom said, I'm glad you're focused on improving yourself versus cash and tournaments and stuff. Listen, that stuff's going to happen. But I got to figure out, what I need to do for myself as a short-term goal to say, hey, listen, I need to make better shots. I need to be more consistent. Here's what I'm going to work on in the short term. And then, okay, once I got this down, I'm going to go to the next thing. And then guess what? That stuff's going to happen. I'm going to cash. I'm going to be in top. I'm going to bowl good in tournaments, and people are going to trust me, and people are going to, be influenced by what I do because I'm putting the effort in. That's, it's what it boils down to is you have to put the effort in to get to where you want to be. Nothing's a handout.
Nope, not at all. And it comes down to the same thing. And, short-term goals, like I'm very adamant. I preach about spare shooting to my clients, to my staff members and stuff. And you know what holds me back from being where I want to be? It's giving up spares, right? And it could be something that's been going on for years, but you can't just, go, oh, well, I'm just a bad spare shooter. I got to learn to six-pack or more to make up for it. No, what you have to do in that instance is you have to go back and understand, okay, I failed. All right. I failed, or I'm not obtaining my goal to being a better spare shooter. That's when you go back and you have to go back to the process point of it. Right. And you have to lay out and understand, why did the failure happen, or why is it continuing to happen? From that point, you need to differentiate two different things, which we talk about, which is it in fact a physical attribute that's causing it, or is it mental? Because there is so much more to this game than simply just throwing the ball well. Okay. There's a lot of really talented people in this world that throw the ball amazing, and they don't ever excel. They don't win tournaments because they don't have the mental fortitude to know how to win. And again, when you're, we're talking a lot about goals, but when you're going through those goals, you need to understand that they're not always all physical either. They're mental goals. There could be a goal of how you want to market yourself, or a goal, that is revolving around how many people you impact or you touched along the way. It just depends what your goal is, but you have to have one, and you have to be able to measure it too. You can't have a goal if you can't measure it. Because if you can't measure it, you have no way of knowing if you're making progress.
Well, I'm gonna say even before measuring it, you got to be able to self-identify. You got to let your pride wall down and say, hey, listen, it's not the pin's fault, it's not the ball's fault, it's me. I threw the ball, I made the shot. I have to let my pride wall down. Let me figure out what I need to do to make myself better, and then come up with a goal. And then you have to, like you said, you have to be able to have a measurable metric, if you will.
Right. And I think it might be a good one sometime. Jason, we talk a lot about physical and mental things. I think a good segment, outside of this one where people are just getting to meet you a little bit more, I think would be a good one to come on here and talk about. Maybe do a segment completely around goals and put out some handouts and some call outs that people understand a little bit more about how you lay that out. You don't have to be on location with Jason or I to start working on these things. We can lead you there and help you no matter where you're tuning in from in the country to, essentially, lay out what you want to do for yourself. So I think it'd be a good one. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be good. And I did, that's what my motto is on my videos. It's educate, learn, develop. Let's figure out what we need to do to make ourselves better to get to the next step. And that's all we're doing, getting to the next step.
Absolutely.
And you'll get your end goal, but you gotta follow the steps first.
Yeah. Chris put one up here, and maybe I'll give a little feedback to the people out there. So, Jason threw a variety of brands. I'm not going to get into specifically what he was throwing, but he's pretty much made a devoted change over to the brands of Brunswick now. And he's throwing pretty much nothing but our equipment. And I think what Chris is asking is, what are you most impressed with during the transition? What are you really liking about these balls? And go from there.
Yeah, I think what I like the most about the genre of the brands of Brunswick is the predictability. I don't have that big skid flippy, herky jerky motion that I have to worry about. A lot of times it's you want to see the ball cover 30 boards, great, that's fine. But if you're ending up with a 4 split, then it doesn't matter. Or if you're going double to A10 every other frame, it's not something you want to deal with. And I feel like the biggest difference I see in the genre is the predictability, and it's a lot more smoother transitioning bowling balls. And a lot of times it's a safer play. And those of you that know me, I like to get on the ball a little bit. I like to get around it. I like to see the ball shape, and I can do that with these. And they're still predictable, and I can manipulate my hand to make them do what they want. And plus, you got 75 bowling balls to pick from. How could you not be?
Yeah, you can't find emotion in there. Like honestly, before we answer this question, Steve kind of put in here, and I'll actually let you take Steve's question. I might chime in a little bit, but I chuckled the other day because I saw, and I'm not going to say a name. I saw somebody that represents our brands and put up something about, didn't have ball motion, and I just scratched my head and I said, "Come on, pal, if you feel you didn't have ball motion, then let's sit down and chat, because you have every shape you could possibly ever want at your fingertips." That's probably a good instance where you probably should have said, "I didn't throw it very well today," or "I didn't match up well with how I throw the bowling ball." Because again, we can go back and we can own what we do, right? It's not always the tool that's in your hand. Sometimes the tool is the person.
Yeah, so it's exactly what I was saying about self-identifying. You got to I'm not nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. You got to figure out what you got to do to get better, and you got to be able to let your pride down to learn about that. All right, what's going on here with Steve?
So let's see what Steve said here. He had a 2-part question. It may end up being 3, and he asked, "How much time do you spend putting together arsenals, house or tournament? And do you drill balls for specific patterns and never use them again?"
Okay, no. The second part. Just because I'm not a baller like that. If I had a PBA truck, I might consider it, but I don't. How much time do you spend putting together arsenals, house, or tournament? So I actually carry the same 6 balls to everywhere, just for the specific fact that I know my equipment. I know what to go to, when I need to go to it, and what the ball is going to do. I'm not just this one and then throw it and be like, nope, that wasn't it. I'm making educated moves. Try to make not a guesstimated, educated. This is what the lane's giving me, and this is what I have to do, and this is what I'm going to. When I build an arsenal, in my opinion, you need a smoother, earlier asymmetric. You need a smoother symmetric, and then I go with a skid flippy asym and then a skid flippy symmetric. As much skid flippy as a symmetric can get, and then I like to keep urethane as a backup, and then a plastic ball. So that's my 6.
Yeah, and I think to answer his question, I think Jason spends more time making sure ahead of time. So if he's going to select a ball to drill, it's going to be with intention to know where it fits in his bag that he's going to use at house and challenge or PBA or whatever he's going to use them at. They're going to travel the same way. And I would answer that exactly the same. Now, I will say if I was to bowl the national tour, just knowing the conditions and working out there with the guys, I would not necessarily have a bag devoted just to there, but I would tell you that I would migrate to slightly stronger layouts for myself, because the region we're in here, kind of East Coast and stuff, there's generally a lot of friction in this region. And being heavy-handed myself, I use a lot of flare-reducing bowling balls. But if I know I'm going to be going somewhere where they're going to be heavily front-loaded or something, and I really I need the ball to flare a little more, have a little more, see the front a little more of the lane. I'm going to use a lot of the same angles, like for instance, my drilling angle and my valve angles, but I'm going to alter my flare potential of that bowling ball is where I'm going to go after. So I might use slightly stronger layouts, but kind of the same boat as you. And even though I'm not a PBA tour truck. I obviously have a lot of balls at my disposal.
A little bit of
But
resources.
I will throw a lot of them in, do some videos on them and see where they fit in the bag. And I'll take some, but I'm generally taking something out of the bag to fit a hole. And what I will do from there is, even though I have that, I'm not really traveling to a lot of tournaments with more than 9 balls. Just because I actually don't like to have too many options, because then it gives me personally, and this is where I'm self-assessing, I feel like I'm always looking in my bag to make my reaction even better, where sometimes it has to be more patience, or what I'm doing is correct. And I just have to let, the lane come to me, and I have to execute instead of thinking, okay, my execution is okay, and I can just go find a reaction or another ball or in my bag. I get that noise out of there, right? I want to try to simplify what I'm doing. So again, that doesn't happen without self-reflection and knowing yourself. You have to know yourself.
Yeah. And like you said, get the clutter out of there. You want to understand your equipment, and you don't want to be like, should I throw it? Should I not? It's not one of those things. It's more of a, this is what the lane's giving me. This is what I got to do.
Right.
I'm not guessing here. This is what it is.
And a very, very good questions there, Steve. And reading some of your other comments there, not a problem at all. Looks like you're originally from Connecticut, now in Iowa. I don't know if Iowa is bowling right now. I think they might be down right now. So hopefully you guys are back up. I think if I saw correctly, Iowa might be on the timeout list right now for bowling, but go from there. It looks like Carrie popped in. She's asking a question. A lot of good questions coming through here, gang. And since Jason and I are stuck at home, we're not really in a hurry, probably, especially Jason, who's stuck in his room. But what pre-shot things do you do? I.e., eat certain things, listen to certain songs. It looks like, we had a second one come through. It's just Mouse is the other one. We're not going to listen to Bradley. I'm sure it's something, being a smart ass.
In the house.
So, what you do have pre-tournament things that you do?
No, I would say the biggest thing that I have to make sure that I do is get enough sleep. Because if I don't have 8 hours, 9 hours of sleep, I just don't have the enthusiasm to go through the entire day. What do you mean in one day? Yeah, man.
I'm terrible at sleeping. Terrible.
Yeah, and that's why your hair is white. See?
What we talk about? This is no product.
Yeah.
And I'm old.
Okay, all right.
And I haven't been able to get a haircut. This is 2 weeks growth right here. 2 weeks. It still looks fabulous.
Yeah. Well. No, I try to get enough sleep, and if I'm doing, and I actually learned this one from Carrie. Typically I don't eat a lot during bowling or before bowling. Point being, can't bowl if you got to poop, Jeff. I'm sorry. And usually eat like a light, healthy breakfast, some caffeine going, get some water going in the morning. If I happen to make cut or whatever, and there's a period of time where I wait, I typically wouldn't eat. But I actually did actually learn this one from Carrie, and I'm like, so that's not a bad idea. So let me try to eat something healthy in between. So then I did, I grabbed some grilled chicken and some tomato and lettuce from the snack bar, and then I actually had more energy going into the step ladder then, and I'm like, okay, so that's the latest and greatest thing I learned.
I mean, and that's actually kind of important. So like if you were to relate to that, like you'll often see golfers that are eating like granola or a banana or something along those lines. You have to think that, as a bowler, you are exerting actually a lot of energy, especially if you're bowling bad and taking 2 shots of frame. You need to make sure that you maintain that. But I mean, you do need to keep fluids in you. I mean, as you're competing, you want to make sure that you are, stay hydrated to keep because the muscles that are hydrated in the body, because you can get real tight. You can get sore. You can start having discomfort if you don't have enough water going through. The other thing is that you do have to, from a nutritional side of it, you do have to feed yourself to be ready. But when I chuckle in my mind because it's how I work. I'm like, oh, a healthy breakfast. So that's like what, 3 pieces of bacon instead of 6. I mean, that's, I mean, but what he's getting at there is, you don't want to, you definitely like even the night before, right? You don't want to eat like as bowlers, you don't want to eat something that's like super salty. Okay. Because salt can do what? It can make you
your
retain
thumb
water.
like a balloon.
Yeah, you can retain water, right? You can have changes in your hands. If you're traveling to bowl, you need to be cognizant about where you're going as well, because depending on what altitude you're at, your body reacts differently as well. I can tell you, like when I go out west, or like I'm going to be in Vegas or somewhere along then, my hand always seems to be up. Right. And it just depends, where you're going, but your diet does dictate a lot about the changes that your body will do while you're competing. Okay. So think about that. Like if you're going to go out in a bender all night and you're going to come in hungover, I've been there. And maybe that's
don't expect a lot.
You're not going to expect a lot. So Mouse, because Mouse asked, he was, it was a legit question. Is alcohol consumed, before, during, or after tournaments? Mouse, if it's league, it's definitely before. We like to call those swing looseners. But if I'm going to go and I'm going to be competing in something with, where it's at, regional level or something, for money. No, I'm not going to get, all drunked up or eat, terribly or something before that, because if we're competitors and we're there for the right reasons, we should be taking it serious enough to know, what the task at hand for what we're doing. Now, there's tournaments where, we know that they're more fun based and there's not a lot of money in them, and we're just kind of there to have a good time with the friends. Yeah, sure. I had a few beers just the other week, right before we got COVID, at a smaller tournament, if you will, just because, we wanted to, it was just more of a fun atmosphere.
Yeah. Me personally, I don't, because I feel like I get a little bit lethargic. I'm like, when I start drinking, I really like want to relax. And I'm trying to stay concentrated and focused. And then I, get the little bit of the head sweats going on and stuff. And it's like, it's like, so, maybe, afterwards, have one or two just to, ease into the rest of the night. But, other than that, no, not really.
They actually are good questions, Mouse. We love picking on you, man. I'm glad Bradley is tuning in from Las Vegas, so it just goes to show you how many people tune in and from all over the place. So it's pretty cool that everybody's interacting and stuff. But he does tell me that he is traveling home around Christmas time. So I did warn him ahead of time that I don't care if he's home for 3 or 4 days. He needs to make a visit to see his old man, which is me.
Yeah.
I'm Bradley's like second or third dad. His main dad now is Simo. So I'm not really sure how that works, because I think their age is pretty close.
Yeah. Well, maybe he can get us a lane at the Nerd and one of those $13 beers or something, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not paying for the beer. I'll pay for the lineage, which is probably like $28. But I expect the beer to be included, kind of like when I'm gambling. That's how I feel Vegas works. Like, if I'm gambling, which sometimes my bowling game is like a gamble, I feel like the extra stuff should come with it.
You just never know what's going to happen. That's
correct. But awesome questions that came through tonight. Jason, we're at 53 minutes already. I say this crap all the time. It's so easy to talk about bowling, and especially when there's two individuals that are on there very passionate about what we do and what we want to see happen for the sport. For me, before I let you off the hook here, okay, and we talked about goals and we talked about things you're going to do within the next year. I'm going to ask you beyond that. And it's a hard question because where do you see yourself in the next 3 years in this game? I'm not going to ask you 5 or what is for you as a long-term goal? What does that look like?
I definitely, obviously we're getting married and stuff, and we're doing the adult thing, but me and Ashley have this conversation all the time. Bowling is part of my personality, and I wouldn't be who I am now if it wasn't for bowling. So, I plan to be, just as involved as I am now. Hopefully with a little more, support on the equipment side. Hopefully with the video influences and stuff like that. A couple of those things will come my way. But yeah, no, I plan to tread on and and better my game. And only with time comes a little bit more education. And the better I know my game, the better I can bowl. And and it's a continuous development. So it's not like my coach used to say back in the day, it's progress, not perfection. It's never perfection. It's always progress. And I enjoy the grind. I enjoy the challenge, and I try to be as involved as I possibly can. With trying to pay my mortgage and everything, so I have to have an actual corporate job, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I plan to be involved just as much as I am. Hopefully, with a few more logos on my shirt.
Absolutely. And Alex Glinsky, first and foremost, good bowling yesterday. I was following along. Alex popped in here. Good performance there at the 8-gamer. To answer your question there, no, actually, they didn't ask him where we're going to see him at up-and-coming tournaments. But, Jason, any big tournaments on the horizon or ones you're looking forward to?
Excuse me. Honestly, I kind of lost track of time since I've been locked in my room. So I do. I was planning on bowling Berks yesterday, and yeah.
I think Jordan has one coming up this weekend, I believe, as well.
Yeah,
and Chaco's and Jordan this weekend.
Yeah, I have everything saved in my Facebook calendar. Honestly, when I come up, okay, I got a weekend coming up, I can do something. Then I just go in there and shop for a tournament, basically. I would like to get involved in the regionals and stuff going forward, but I'm just not quite there yet.
Yeah, me either, but I still enter. But I'm humble about it, man. I mean, I know the things that for me, it's a little different. Hurt for a very long time. Bowled hurt for so many years. So the fact that I'm able to bowl, see a Carrie bowl well tonight. Got that long. Carrie had to leave. She's going to league. She gets the bowl while I stay here with the leftover Ronies. So, but a little different for me. I mean, I still know exactly what needs to be worked on, but I'm just so fortunate to be able to bowl healthy now, and that's huge for me. So, a little different, but I think December's a tough time too for tournaments. I mean, when you get around kind of the holidays there, it gets a little muddy. There's a couple New Year's Day tournaments, and I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now too with what's actually going to take place and what isn't. When's the next restriction going to come down? And unfortunately, we're in a huge spike here, but we're kind of on the brink of maybe a vaccination coming, and until that's all rolled out, it'll still be months, and that doesn't eliminate it. So but on a regional level, I think Jason, the same boat. He'll be as much as he can make.
Sign up for Tim Foy's tournament. That's a nice one.
Oh, okay. And that's end of January 24th, I believe, right?
Yep. Awesome payouts. Everybody gets in the action, so it's great. It's a good tournament.
Yep.
Good turnout.
Bradley's saying there's action at the Nerd 7 days a week. That's with those good bowlers. If you want me to bowl action against Simo, I'll just mail him the money. I'm just being honest, man. If I'm going to self-assess myself, I don't deserve to carry that guy's bowling balls. Now, if he wants to get in a conversation about physics of bowling, I'll enter that. It's what it is. But it's you'll definitely see us in the lanes, and Alex, hopefully we'll see you. Definitely, I know I'm kind of going back, and I said good bowling to Alex, but if you don't know who Alex Glinsky is, a great collegiate player at this point, and throws it really, really good. I crossed with him a few times. I respect his game, and I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, so he's got a bright future there.
Yep, good kid.
But Bradley's a good kid too. We still love Bradley, but if he doesn't visit me when he's home, I'm going to write him off. But anyway, Jason, is there anything that maybe I didn't ask you that you think I should have, or that you wanted to share with the folks out here that are tuned in to watch you?
No. I think I'm good. Make sure you subscribe to Jaybird and Pureit on the YouTube channels. Definitely more content going on there. I do want to get into some and maybe we can talk about this too. I would like to get into some other other than just ball reviews, maybe some educational videos, maybe those unasked questions that people actually have, that are a little, maybe a little too timid to ask.
A little timid. And I think sometimes, again, it's almost like a learning style as a teacher. We need to adapt to who our audience is. At the same time, unfortunately, because I see it, I try my best to stay out of conversations on Facebook at times and stuff, especially in forums, because there is actually so much bad information out there.
Yes.
And the minute you try to help or correct somebody, you get a million opinions, and it's tough. You got to go in open-minded. You got to understand that somebody always knows more. And there's a lot of very talented people in this game as well that can actually help. And I think, for anybody that's viewing right now, you could hear 100 different people say, I think you're in the right place, but I'm going to say it. I mean, if you want to learn and you want to get more educated on layouts and ball motion and what balls do and how they fit your game and what it means to you, you're in the right place. So if you ever have questions, and we say this on almost every feed, ask. Right? Ask the question. There's no bad questions. You can reach out to me directly. You can reach out to any of my staff members that are in there. And if they don't know the answer, they're going to tell you, and they're going to tell you to reach out to me and ask that question. And you know what? If I don't know the answer, or I think that, it's a good question for other people in the industry, gang, I have coaches too. I talk and I respect other people in this industry, and individuals that have been on the program, like Brian O'Keefe, one of my closest friends. We talk about stuff all the time. And, as ball reps, some of this stuff is a guessing game, right? Bowling's got a lot of uncertainties and a lot of unknowns, and it's educated guesses that you do to your best of your ability. But guess what? We get smarter, we educate, and we learn a lot more together than we do if we're trying to go after it at ourselves. So ask the questions, right? If there's something we can cover for anyone out there, well, we'll do our best. We'll do our best to do a segment on it. And if you prefer, you're one of those individuals that would rather just come and talk in person, give me a call. My number's out there. It's public for everybody. The only time I don't answer is when I'm swamped in a shop, which is a lot. But guess what? If you leave me a voicemail, I will call you back. Guaranteed.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole purpose, with the channel and stuff. And it's you got to education. It's all around education, and you can't be pride heavy. If you don't know something, you just don't know. Somebody does though. Guess what? Somebody does. And if I don't know, I know somebody that does know the answer.
Absolutely.
And trying to build a better brand and a face people can trust. So
yeah, they are. It is a pretty face. You got that soft demeanor about. Yeah, I'm actually, I have to shave it every so often because it comes all like Joe Dirt style in for me. I can't do that.
Nice.
Yeah, if I did no shave November, it would be hairy like that, but it'd be like all over the place. But going back, because you made fun of my hair, there's people that pay a lot of money for this platinum blonde here, pal.
They do.
This is all natural, baby. I get this for free.
Yeah,
for free. Absolutely. I'm gonna wear it with pride too. I'm 42 years old, and I've been around a long time, so I've earned every one of them.
Yeah.
But all right, gang. Hey, Jason, I thoroughly enjoyed our discussion tonight. I enjoy our discussions all the time, but it's fun to have other people on here and interacting with us and kind of just chatting bowling, because it's awesome to chat when people are so passionate. And the closing remarks that I always leave are the same, and they're not going to change. Yeah, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and hopefully things are on the rise here soon. But if you're in an area that allows it, please go out and support bowling. Support your proprietors right now. They could use the lineage. A lot of us advanced players, sometimes we're not the greatest practice people. Some of us are, some of us aren't. Throw some extra practice games, support your local proprietors, support small business, because at the end of the day, they are. Support your pro shops, not always, yes, I have an e-tail shop. Okay, I sell online, but support your brick and mortar pro shops as well. Those guys, some of them have been closed, some of them are way down, and we need them, right? So, whether it's myself, or you're going out to other pro shops in the area, like Alex, I think, is with Bowler X, visit Bowler X in their stores there. Up in the Harrisburg area, there's tons of pro shops around here. That,
their families got to eat too.
We're all in the same boat, and we need to support each other. We need to do things together, and that's how we grow. That's how we grow as people. That's how we grow as a sport. And I love it, and I'm glad to share it with everybody. So do your part, go bowling, gang, and be safe out there. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, Jason. Thanks for your time, my man. And
All right,
I'll see
buddy.
you on the lane soon. I get out of jail
All right.
tomorrow.
All right. Go bowling.
I'm